Ah, yes, Jade Forest. It's about time I finally do my very first review on this place. It's been what, 2 years since the area came out? Fun fact, I never actually covered it. The only video I ever made was back when it was in pre-release, before it even came out on the test server Dracania, so basically not even official. So here we are, ready to spread a bunch of numbers and let people know, oh yeah, this is also insanely profitable, just like everything I've been covering recently. In fact, some of you might even remember, like a year ago, way back when Wusa came out, I grinded this place on Wusa, and then when Megu came out, I grinded Jade on Megu, and then on Corsair, and I have like 27 hours logged, or I had, and it was supposed to become a review, but hey, okay, well, but let's not drag this out too much. Let's just say 2 years later, finally I can make a Jade review. At least I can show you a list of trash per hour, what I used to get on Wusa, Megu and Corsair, like again, a year ago, half a year ago, before the class buffs, before the add-on changes. I remember my record was about 30,000 trash. Nowadays, surprisingly, it's very close. It is higher, but it started also around the same 30-ish thousand trash per hour. In fact, let me show you as early as possible, because people keep telling me in the comments that I grind too fast, this is impossible. No, I grind like trash. Do you guys know Pavel on YouTube, the guy who plays Nova really fast? Yeah, well, it looks like Nova can pull 60,000 trash per hour here, so you have been warned ahead of time. My numbers are basically poop, trash, garbage compared to the favorite child of PA. That being said, let's begin with rotation and class. Again, Guardian Awakening, my favorite ever since the class buffs. It's pretty much become my main, back to my roots. It's just super satisfying to play, regardless. The rotation in the background, it's exactly how I grinded. I spent here 8 hours in total, with the last 2 being on, uncapped frame rate, potato mode, kind of, just to get around 150, 165 FPS. It does matter, honestly, it actually does matter. My last 2 hours obviously were the best ones in terms of, over the hours I got faster and faster. I changed the way I throw skills and I optimized a little bit more. 8 hours is probably not enough to get the most out of the class and the spot, but eventually I got to 38,000 trash per hour on yellow plus Agris, which I would say it's good enough for a Guardian. And what you see in the background, that's basically how I grinded, the skill rotation, how I threw my skills. If you're a Guardian and you want to replicate that, feel free. The only real mechanic to point out would be that I pulled the blues from their original pack to the next one, the medium and the big boy Yetis. The chibis I just killed on their own, because obviously those people know you cannot really pull them, they are too lazy to move their asses forward. And other than that, I guess bosses, I didn't keep track of them properly because I was too airheaded to put my numbers in Garmoth in time while grinding during the streams, so let's just say estimations around 2 to 4 bosses per hour. They seem to spawn very often compared to how I remember they used to be like a year ago. It's probably relevant to say, yeah, maxed out 300% drop rate, and yeah, I suppose let's look at the numbers and stuff. First we have the monster AP cap, which is 734 here. It's very easy to achieve. This is less than Orcs requires, and I believe also less than Biragi, so easy to AP cap this spot. 30% cap means out of 10 AP you get only 3 past the cap, so obviously after this you want species damage. Gear, basically this, with demi-human artifacts, because the monsters are demi-humans. AP, as I said, I am above the cap, so special attack damage, journals, crystals, demi-human crystals, essentially cheating as much as possible. I imagine most players, if they have less gear, they won't have demi-human crystals, but they don't really matter that much. I'm gonna show add-ons in game because I changed one of them in Garmoth, it's not there. And consumables, basically cheating once again. I didn't have the deep sea elixir for the first 1, 2 or 3 hours when I just started, but for the later hours when I was actually trying to push for trash per hour to grind well, I said, okay, nowadays deep sea elixirs are on the marketplace, you can buy them and they are just slightly more expensive than a perfume of courage, so why not, might as well. And giants, just special attack damage, food. And lastly, full tier 4 pets with tier 5 Captain, basically maxed out. I doubt it matters because the mob density is very low, but hey, more stats. So let me show you my results, what I was able to achieve nowadays on Guardian. Let me know in the comments, with your class, what do you get? How fast do you grind Jade? If I am actually being efficient or if I'm trash. Let's start with Garmoth. You can immediately tell I added every single hour basically today, because as I said, I forgot to add them as I was grinding them. Bosses, I only have 2 and 4, but I remember they were between 2 and 4, mostly 3-ish per hour, I would say. From here, you just mainly focus on what I got every single hour, because there will be more later on Excel. I got 3 iridescents in total. I don't know if this is RNG carried, they seem to be pretty pricey nowadays, 500 million silver. Sadly, Caphras keep dropping in price, which is unfortunate because this area relies a lot on Caphras and dust to make money. And other than that, you can look at the trash. It started with 29.3 the very first hour, and then it instantly went to 32, 34, 30 on blue and Agris, because I wanted to see 300% drop rate, what I would get. This was the Agris efficiency test. 20,000-ish for these two, only yellow without Agris. 22.5, this was again only yellow, but the first high FPS off stream potato graphics hour. And then same thing, same potato, same method, but with Agris enabled, to see what would be my record. That's why I say I could do more hours and maybe get to eventually 40,000 trash. You know why? The first thing I remember when I look back at those high frame rate off stream hours is that I kept getting knocked down. If you look at Global Labs, they are gonna add extra protection to Guardian Awakening, and the main skill that gets me knocked down, and it happens pretty frequently, is Shift RMB, the way I end my packs, which has a gap midway through the skill. Once they patch that with a Global Labs patch, I am pretty sure I will be able to pull 40,000 trash if I stop getting knocked down like 50 times per hour. The last session, if you notice, was 59 minutes, just because I almost ran out of Agris. I had to end it sooner, so this is like 38.8 for the per hour record, almost 39. And that's why this trash per hour average looks so bad, because not everything is equal, but still, let's say for most people who don't have every single hour the same setup, the same yellow plus Agris, 1 billion, it's just a nice number to look at. On the Excel side, this is where the story truly begins. 45% loot scroll scaling, let me start with this. I looked at the numbers and it seems to be about 45, but on paper, because monsters drop such a weird, random range of trash, and depending on what mob you kill, the chibis drop less trash, the big fat dudes drop more trash. It should be 50% perfect scaling, but for me it seems to be about 45. That's the number I went with. I used this to estimate, basically to convert all of my hours. For example, this one, which was blue plus Agris, into yellow plus Agris, everything was converted, all of these numbers, into yellow plus Agris, so I can have consistency, which gave me about 34.5 thousand trash per hour average. Again, nowadays I could pull 38. Taxed items, untaxed items, if it's relevant for some people, and yeah, conclusion up here. 850 blue, 900 and this for yellow. Blue plus Agris about 1.1, 1.2 bill, and yellow plus Agris about 1.2, 1.3 billion per hour, again with this speed, and pretty much again maxed out drop rate, obviously without the shrine buff and without Arsha, just standard 300% on average. If I were to ignore my starting hours and just, as always, simulate my up-to-date speed, let's say 38,000 trash per hour average, then I should get 1 billion, but basically these numbers. On yellow plus Agris, which is what everyone seems to run as a Jade, about 1.3, 1.4 billion per hour. If I get 40,000 trash, let me put here 40, like that, then yeah, 1.4, 1.5 billion per hour. So these would be more numbers to look at. For the Agris Efficiency story, it is a little different this time, because math-wise, let's just say, points per mob, no idea, because every monster uses a different amount of points. The bigger they are, the more Agris they burn, and blues burn even more points, so I didn't use that. Mobs per hour, no Marnie stones, it's hard to track efficiently. Trash per mob, same reason, but still, 33.4-ish thousand points used per hour from this run specifically, the 30,000, this one, 34,000 trash per hour estimated. So again, it could be faster, but this is what I used for the math. Efficiency, I estimated 100% loot efficiency from your pets, because the density is so low, you should be looting everything, nothing should be really left behind. And the efficiency number is about 900 million silver per hour from just Agris. Again, the explanation would be, this is the silver you make from only Agris, without loot scrolls, just simply 150% extra trash. If you were to burn 100,000 Agris, which in this case would take you like 3 hours. If you remember at Biragi, this number was like 92, so it's 10 times more efficient Agris wise than stuff like Biragi or Orcs, which most people know they suck. Other than that, I added this value, 300-ish million silver, which is basically looking at how much money would make only from Agris at this current speed. So out of all of these money per hour numbers, let's just say you subtract 300, and that's the money you would make if you grind here without Agris enabled. Basically this. I looked at my base numbers here and I subtracted the other Agris burned on its own, and yeah, for the past half a year or so, over multiple streams, I kept bringing up this idea that nowadays I would love to redo my big Agris project, because I don't believe Agris efficiency should be valued the same way I used to do it in the past. For example, here, most people say Jade is a very efficient grinding spot, and I would kind of tend to disagree. Unless you really need the flame and you have to be here, why would you burn Agris and make 1.2 billion, the same money you can make at Biragi or Orcs without Agris? You know, might as well burn Agris elsewhere if it makes you the same money that you would make here with Agris. It doesn't really give you extra value, it just simply makes Jade grindable in the first place, otherwise it kinda sucks. For the next one, experience, it ranks about here. Again, to put this into perspective, as always, take this with a huge grain of salt. This was tested before the classes were buffed, before the add-ons were changed. This project started half a year ago. It is kind of on pause. Eventually I will finish it. Not every spot is in here, but you know, Jade experience is meh. It doesn't really suck per se, but it's worse than Elvia, so it kind of sucks. 18,000 trash on just yellow. This is all equalized to be only yellow loot scrolls, so Jade is no exception, no Agris. Nowadays I can do, as you saw earlier, 23,000 trash on just yellow, so this could be faster. Next, the loot scroll efficiency, the thing I should have brought up before experience, because it's part of money per hour. 45% again, the number I went with for blue loot scroll scaling, taking the numbers from the chart earlier, my actual clearing speed on just yellow, about 20,000 trash, converts it into blue, splits it into trash and rare items, and the values we are interested in are 70-ish million from tent. It's interesting how nowadays everything seems to be worth it to buy the 50 million tent buff, because everything, you make so much money nowadays. Everything is like 1 billion plus money per hour, so the tent buff seems to be always worth buying. You make more than you spend, so that's just nice to learn, I guess. And yeah, 50-ish%, half of the value, so use yellow if you want, if you have too many loot scrolls, but honestly blue is perfectly fine here, blue plus Agris. And yeah, I believe that is pretty much it. 38, 39, maybe 40,000 trash per hour. Man, someday I will pull more. I know if I come back I can do better, again after I get more protection and I stop getting knocked down, but come on Pavel, it makes me feel like I'm a trash player, or I should just consider Pavel to be an actual AI, a bot. Just Nova shouldn't be able to pull 60,000 trash here. It doesn't sound right, but it is what it is, I guess. Grind here if you play Nova or some super fast class. If you can pull similar numbers to mine, 38 or 40,000 trash on yellow plus Agris. If you pull anything under 35, if you don't need the flame, I don't think it's really worth it to grind Jade. It is a nice spot, so come here for the experience, but you know, it's not broken money for most classes, let's say. It was a very nice spot. Way back when I did those 27 hours, I was actually pretty obsessed, or it used to be my favorite spot. And yeah, I will leave you with this 3.5 years old gem that I found while just scrolling through my older videos, the epic ones. This was back when I made my Guardian, back when she was just released, and well, we all know how that turned out. Back then, I ended up maining Guardian, and hey, I'm back to my roots. Still, it's the end of the year, so let's just have a nice ride. Catch you in the new year, and take care. Bye-bye.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your super?